Good evening, LinkedIn and YouTube community. We are live once again and we bring to you another episode of BIZE Talks presents real business lessons. So tonight we are going to talk about building your core team. I'm sure most of your founders and CXO leaders are they prefer a set of team to lead, but there is a lot of gap in between when you try to identify a core team member, especially your co-founders, and it takes a lot of time and a struggle to identify a right co-founder because finding a co-founder is like finding your soul mate. And if anything is wrong, not only your business, but your own reputation is on stake. So for today's hot topic, I'm going to invite an esteemed speaker, Miss Sree Lata.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
ma'am. Good
Rakesh. Thank you
evening.
for inviting me.
Ma'am, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. Um, Thanks to BIZE Talks and thanks to Rakesh for inviting me for this webinar. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Sree Lata Shankar. I repeat, I am Sree Lata Shankar. I come with 24 years of experience, have worked in all facets of HR, right from comp and benefits, PMS, policies, competency mapping, recruitments, etc. I also have been teaching for the last 13 years, now close to 14 years. I've been
Hmm.
teaching HR and management colleges. I also conduct soft skill workshops for management colleges, engineering colleges, and the corporate companies. Along with this, I do content writing. This content writing is more specifically for friends and, if anybody whom I know want me to write content for them, I write it for them. I've been writing poetry for the last 5 years now. I've written about 37
Wow.
poems, writing 38th poem. I hope to publish a book soon. Um, Along with this, I have a creative side to me. I do tanto painting, block printing, tie and dye, and pottery. I have an adventure side to me. I've done paragliding, bungee jumping, Tarzan swing, and ziplining. Recently, I've started a podcast for the Leadership Talk. It's called Leadership Talk series, where I'm interviewing a lot of leaders across domains, across verticals, across industries. This leadership talk is about their own journey and right from their college to the leaders that they are today.
Hmm.
And the leaders, when I'm talking about leaders, it's vice president upwards or assistant vice president upwards.
Hmm.
Basically, I'm targeting the college students and young professionals how much they can learn from these leaders and what they can do, should do, and what they should not do, and how they can shape their careers. So, thank you again for inviting me for this lovely podcast.
Pleasure's all ours, ma'am, and we are so honored to have you on board with us today. I'm sure most of our founders and leaders would like to learn about team building, about team training. So,
Sure,
getting
sure.
started with the topic, let's start with defining a core team. So,
Sure.
my question to you is, as per you, how would you define a core team?
Very, very good question to start off the podcast, Rakesh. The core team is your departments, all the departments that could, form the entire organization, which could be your
Hmm.
finance, HR, your technical teams, technology teams, and your own business or sales teams. So this team that every organization accumulates or brings in people is very, very critical and very, very important, because they will
Hmm.
eventually not just be the team members or the organization members, but they'll also be heading the departments. So it is very important to get the right people for the job. Now, once you get the right people for the job, then it's easy to build the rest of the team downwards. Now, what do I mean by right people? Right people is to ensure that the person that you're bringing in, let's say you're the CEO of the company and you're bringing in the HR department, the finance department, etc. You're bringing in the senior people to lead the team or lead the particular department. Therein, it is very important that the person or people they're bringing in is matching the vision and mission of the company and matching the
Hmm.
ideas of the CEO. If there is a mismatch, then the start itself is bad. So it is very important to build in that team, and also I would say that while you bringing in that team or that set of people, it is always essential or rather easy to bring in people whom you know, so that it's easy because your mindsets are
Okay.
same, your culture in terms of your value additions will be almost the same. So therein after that it's very easy to build it up. Yeah, that way I would answer the question.
Okay, so as you mentioned, right team is much important to identify. So I want to deep dive into this right team, statement. So when it comes to quality of a team member, of a core team member, so could you tell us about the key qualities of a core team member that we should focus on while hiring?
Sure. When I say the right team, for example, if I'm recruiting an HR person, let's say you're, like I said, give an example, you're the CEO of ABC company and you're wanting to
Hmm.
recruit an HR person. Now, the HR person should obviously know the job that he's getting into. Uh, Not the job he's getting into in the context of what his job is, what HR has to do or has to deliver. And when he is delivering or joining an organization which is a startup
Hmm.
organization, the
Hmm.
requirements are even more. When I say what I mean by that is requirement in the context of how to start up a business, how to scale up, and how to bring in people. You should be able to scale up from zero to, let's say, 1,000 employees. That capability you should have. Capability to work on different challenges and bring in the right people. Again, when I say right people, is to ensure that the people are able to deliver according to the requirements of the company. The
Hmm.
business can be from various organizations. You can be partnering with Microsoft and IBM and the small companies or medium level companies and across industries as well. So the core team member should be able to deliver what is required and what the business capabilities are and what the business demands. So once I'm able to identify these kind of people and
Hmm.
who can work on the various parameters, paradigms, and challenges, then it's easy to build the rest of the team.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so another question which pops up when we talk about selecting a core team member, there is a quantitative approach where you look at the experience and you rightly mentioned that he should be able to drive the business, take the team forward to from 1 to 1,000. And the other is a qualitative approach where we look for the passion in the person and we look for his, emotional attachment or, alignment with the vision. So, what is the percentage to consider between the qualitative and the quantitative?
I think it is all goes hand in hand. You can't
Okay.
bifurcate saying, okay, passion has to be 30%,
Huh.
knowledge has to be 70%, etc. It has to
Huh.
be all driven in one go. Because if I say I'm very passionate and I don't have the knowledge of HR, then I'm setting myself a failure. So, and what a leader, when I'm saying a leader, is comes with at least 20 plus years of experience. If you're heading the department of an organization, when you're saying HOD, he or she will definitely come with 20 plus years of experience. With that kind of
Okay.
experience, if there is no knowledge, there's no work. I will not get work. Rakesh will not allow me to join his company if I don't have knowledge of that particular. And when I say knowledge, I'm not expecting, or any organization does not expect you to know everything. Like I claim that I am not an IT centric person. I don't understand technology, but I need to know the basics. if I'm, even for a small Excel sheet, if I'm depending on my team, then I'm not a good
Hmm.
leader
Hmm.
because I
Hmm.
need to walk the talk. I don't need to understand Java, .NET, artificial intelligence, etc. I need to understand the basics of it. No organization, no CEO, nor HODs will expect the HR department to understand technology or sit in code. That's not my job at all. But I should understand the basics of it. Why? Because
Okay.
I am part of the recruitment team as well. I am going to be heading the entire HR, recruitment and core HR. So if
Right.
my team
Right.
is, I can't say, okay, my recruitment team is taking care of the recruitment, so I don't have to bother about understanding what is technology. I need to understand what is the
Hmm.
basic of Java, .NET, etc. Therein, I can explain to the team saying this is what needs to be done, how you need to call up a candidate, how you need to filter a candidate, how you need to shortlist, screen, etc. of the candidate. Sorry. So that guidance has to be given by the HODs. Yes, there are times everybody is constantly learning. Like for example, when data science came in, or when artificial intelligence and machine learning came in, I did my homework. I did learn. So that
Hmm.
doesn't mean that I do not understand technology at all. But if you ask me to sit and explain what is data science, I may not be able to explain.
Hmm.
That is not my job at all. So no organization expects you to be master of all, but you need to be specialized. If you're heading the HR department, you need to understand every aspect of HR department. You cannot say, "Oh,
Hmm.
I don't understand compensation benefits. I don't understand PMS." Those are some things which will not work for you, and you're setting yourself for failure. So it is very important to be able to have knowledge, have passion, and be able to be compassionate as well to work with teams. You will have to also juggle around. There will be people with all kinds of emotions, all kinds of wants, all kinds of asks. You should be able to juggle. You should be able to say, hey, I can't do this now, I will do this tomorrow. And also tell the other business heads saying this will work, this will not work. So you should
Hmm.
be able understand what the requirements are of the company. Second is understand what, why, and when is the urgency is required. And
Hmm.
if need be, you need to push back and say this will not work, or this will work, but I need some time. So it is very important to say that to the other team, other HODs as well. The reason being, if you take on everything, let's say every department we need about 200 people, you will not be
Hmm.
able to do it. So there are times when you will have to push back, and that is the key or crux of any HOD.
Okay. Okay. So I come to a conclusion that experience is more important. Knowledge can
Experience is
be.
equally important. I would say experience, knowledge, and passion go hand in hand, and it's equally
Okay.
important. Experience and
Okay.
knowledge. So if I say I'm knowledgeable but I don't have experience, that will fall flat. I have 20
Hmm.
years of experience, I don't have HR knowledge, that also will fall flat. So it goes hand in
Hmm.
hand.
Okay. So domain expertise is required, department expertise
Absolutely.
is required, plus
Absolutely.
the experience in that particular area. Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And people
Okay.
management. You should
And
be
people
able to
management.
understand what is required, how it is required, because you will have a lot of team members who are very young. They may be just a couple of
Right.
years out of college or freshers
Right.
of college. They may be not be directly reporting into you, but indirectly they will be reporting into you. And
Hmm.
if organizations don't have many layers, then they will, couple of them will directly report to you. So you should be able to understand what are the requirements of the team and how they should deliver and how you need to mold them. I'll give you a small example. I used to have
Sure.
a team member called Vishwanath, and he was an amazing employee, amazing in the context of no attitude. He would always come to work by 9:45, 10. He'll be definitely in the office. He will always
Hmm.
stay back till 8:30. His wife also used to work in the same organization. His wife used to work in the recruitment team, and Vishwanath used to work in the core HR team. and I was managing the entire recruitment and the core HR. So his wife would leave by 6:30, but he would always stay back till 8:30. But he had a lot of complaints, and they had like Vishwanath had a dotted line. He would also report to the business and to me. So all the business heads wanted to sack him. I said, give me some time, give me 1 month's time, let me work with him. But all of them had, said one thing: he's a great guy. He doesn't have attitude. He's always willing to take up work. But what the problem was, he was always having workloads, tons and tons of workloads pending. So I sat with him and understood what was the problem. So he used to always work. He was working in employee relations, where he constantly would interact with employees, and I realized that every call that he was having was nothing less than 40-45 minutes, and nothing was personal calls, all official calls, right?
All of us.
So I told him, why was the call 40-45 minutes? But he said, yes ma'am, they're asking this information, that information. I said, are they related to the specific problem that he was speaking about? He said, not really. So I told him that it's very important to speak 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points and say thank you. I will get back to you in 1 day's time, 2 days time. I'll resolve and get back to you. In case it's not resolved, tell him that I need a specific more number of days, and it's very important to let him know about it.
Hmm.
So and then finish the call within 5 or 10 minutes. Finish the call. Then he said, "Ma'am, but will they not think I'm rude?" I said, "No, they will not think you're rude. Point one, and me as your boss will surely think you are. I will appreciate the fact that you are being very professional and finishing the conversation in 10 minutes." Um, but he got a little defensive, and he said, no ma'am, you realized you were standing next to me and hearing the call. None of it was personal call. I said, yes Vishwanath, I understand it's nothing personal at all the calls that you were having is all professional calls, but you should be able to curtail the call within 5 or 10 minutes. Don't prolong the call for
Hmm.
more than 10. If you still
Hmm.
want to have a chat with him, do it at lunchtime, do it at your tea time, but ensure
Hmm.
that all the calls are just for 10 minutes, maximum 12-13 minutes, because more than 12-13 minutes, no other list of items are required to be spoken to anybody else. So, and I also told them that once you set this precedence, everybody will understand that the calls have to be short, and you can't go on and on and on, because their work is also getting curtailed, right? Or their work is also pending. Then the second aspect was, I sat with him and told him, asked him to write down every day morning things to do. You have 10 things to do on a daily basis, write it down. So he wrote it down. And then the third item I asked him to do was prioritize. Prioritize as to what is the most important, then what is the
Hmm.
medium level importance, and what is the least
Hmm.
amount of. Then
Hmm.
after I did that exercise, Rakesh, he still had a lot of work pending. So what I realized was he was spending time on the least important and the medium important, and still had work pending. So I had to tell him, as soon as you come into work from 10 to 12, finish off the most important activities. Then you keep the medium level, then you finish the medium level. If Then he got defensive, and he said, ma'am, yesterday I was in the meeting for 3 hours. I said, this will be part of the job. You are expected to work for 8-9 hours, but you're also expected to attend meetings. You're also expected to have calls, I mean, take calls, answer calls, etc. So you need to understand how smartly you can work. Gone are the days
Hmm.
where you're saying, I am hardworking, but today you should be hardworking plus smartly working. So I said, all of us have 8-9 hours. It's not like I have 15 hours or 20 hours and you have only 8 hours. So it is very important to the moral of the story is that for some employees, you kind of have to handhold them and guide them as to this is how you need to do your professional life, or you need to build your careers. And the next aspect, what I did was I sat with him and asked him to do a goal setting. Do I taught him how to do SWOT analysis, and I made him do a goal setting. And these things I've not just done for Vishwanath. I've given an example of Vishwanath, but I've done it for various team members, and that scaled their career paths to a large extent. So they know how to channelize their energies, how what they need to chase, and how they need to chase. So at
Hmm.
times,
Hmm.
being a leader is not just managing business or managing team, but also to handhold them to ensure their growth is also there.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
also add that once your teams are growing, the company will definitely grow.
Right, right. Cool. That was really insightful example that you gave, ma'am. Coming back to our topic, we were discussing about the qualities of the core team member. So we noted that the experience, knowledge, and passion, all three are equally important. How
Yes.
do we assess each of them? Experiences, of course, mentioned in the letter, the CV, resume, everything. But then the passion, because that's most important for a co-founder to have. How do we assess that?
So passion is something not I can't judge you or assess you
Hmm.
by just talking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In an interview, let's say Rakesh is running an organization and he's interviewing Sree Lata Shankar. And in the first 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes of our first discussion, you definitely are not able to assess. But
True.
I will also say you can assess. So why am I contradicting?
Okay.
It's very easy to understand or assess or judge by how I am talking or how I am interacting in the interview. The various
Hmm.
questions. Gone are the days when you have a typical interview of the HODs. It is more of a discussion. So the
Hmm.
discussion that you have with the
Hmm.
core members or when you're building the core team members, it is very important to understand as to how what he's bringing onto the table in terms of his expertise. The second is how he's building it, how he's interacting, how he's talking to you. That's why I said it's pivotal to get in the people whom you know. So let's say
Hmm.
Rakesh knows Lata. He knows that she comes with an expertise of HR. She has a fantastic track record. She has done multiple things, and the fact that you know me as an individual, that itself, that okay, she's passionate about the job. She knows she has knowledge. She has great skills. She has experience. Knowledge is one in terms of core HR, but skills in many other
Right.
aspects of building teams, of building organizations, organizing, planning, executing. All these are not really taught in any college or
Hmm.
any.
Hmm.
Right. So these are things which a leader has to have. There's no
Hmm.
two ways about it. So when you're bringing in a core team, um, and that's why I specifically said, and I'm repeating myself, that it's very important to know the people that you're getting onto. If you don't know them directly, let's say Rakesh does not know Sree Lata, Rakesh's friend, let's say Anil knows Sree Lata, and Anil has been talking widely about Sree Lata, talking a lot about Sree Lata's capabilities. That's when you should connect with Sree Lata and get her on.
Hmm.
So it is,
So
I will say that, yeah, I will
references
not
play
say,
a lot of, yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So
So,
references play a lot of positive thing when you
absolutely.
uh, you know
And also,
uh,
I like to answer your question, Rakesh. There are no one, two, three set parameters or set aspects. You can say, okay, these are the three things. Does she fit into that category? Then I can say she's passionate. Then I can say she's good fit.
hmm, hmm,
So there is no set parameters. It is how you are able to assess or judge the person on your interaction on that particular day. Let's say I
okay,
have had a accident. I may be not in a very good mood. So are you judging the fact that Srilata is a bad person because she screamed at the security boy? So that may not be a right judgment, isn't it? So you
yeah,
should be able to understand what has happened, what is the problem. Why is she snapped? Why did she snap at the security board? So there could be multiple reasons. So
Hmm.
the assessment of anybody, even with the junior most employee to the co-founder, it cannot be assessed on set parameters or one interaction. So I to answer your question, there is no ABC activities that you can assess the person.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Right. Cool. So my next question to you, ma'am, is let's say take an example. I got a person who is well experienced, well knowledgeable, and I also understand, I know him, and whether personally or through reference, that he is quite a passionate person to join a core team. But how do I ensure that he is aligned with my vision and mission as a founder, so that we can gel together and work together?
Right. Good question, Rakesh. Because if the HODs or your core team members or the leaders of the organization, if their thought process does not match with the
Hmm.
vision mission of the company or the core uh, what is a core requirement of the company, then the the organization crumbles or the department will not be properly functioning. So it is important to understand what the person is getting onto. When I say that, is like when you're interacting with the, especially when you're just starting a company, when you're wanting to set up companies, set up departments, it is
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
important to bring in those people with just with not just knowledge, with not just skills, but understand, put them in different situations, try to understand or try to assess them on various aspects, and what they can build or how they can build the organization. Once they're able to see, these are small things which again cannot be questioned, cannot be saying, okay, if I need to build this team, what are you going to do? That's an easier question to answer. But the
Hmm.
question asked, it's, if you can repeat the question for the audience's benefit, you may not be able to have particular answers if you can just repeat the question.
So my question was, how do I ensure that my said team core member is aligned with my vision and mission?
Yeah, so if the organization HODs are not like I said, you're getting in your own references, or somebody whom you know, therein it's easy for me to build those capabilities
Correct.
in terms of everybody working towards one goal and not having 10 different goals. Because if you
Correct.
have 10 different goals, it's like the old adage that goes, too many cooks spoil the broth, right? You have to
Hmm.
have, they should, and also people should understand, there is only one leader. You cannot have 10 leaders, 10 different department HODs. That's yes, but every company will have only one CEO, one COO. You can't have 10 CEOs, 10 COOs. And every person, all the HODs and layers below that should be able to work for the mission of the vision of the company. What is the mission of the company? Mission of the company will be saying, okay, I'm starting company from zero. I want to scale it up to 1,000 employees. I'm starting with, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 rupees. I want to scale it to 10,000 crores. So that's being the requirement. How you scale it? By bringing in various businesses, both IT, non-IT, sales, etc. If it's a product company, and how you're going to build those products, which are the markets that you're going to sell. So these being the crux of the issue or crux of the organization, it is very important that everybody is aligned to one goal of the organization. So if you're not working towards one goal, then there's no point of you being there at all. So it is very that's point one. Point two is, I always say this, that No, in organizations, information is not percolated to the junior most team. It is very
Hmm.
important from the CEOs. While the CEO or COO may percolate the information to to his next level, that is the HODs of the department or vice presidents of the department, they do not percolate it to the junior most, and that is very important.
Hmm.
Yes, there may be information which is confidential. You don't need to share every information to the juniors because they do not have the maturity to understand, or they don't understand what is happening. But it is very important to at least allow people to know what the company is doing, what the future of the company is, what the future of the employees are. This is very important. If I feel I don't know what is happening with the company, then there is the connect from the employee side towards the company is lost. So it is very important for the organizations, the HODs, to percolate the information. Like I said, yes, you cannot share a lot of confidential information, but at least the business company, the business growth and the company's growth is very important to share. So once
Right.
the information is percolated and shared with the company, with the employees also feel connected. The employees also feel saying, yes, hey, this is my company. This is what I want to do. This is what how I want to grow in the company. So once that is there,
Right.
the alignment is always there from both the junior most employees to the HODs to the leader.
Right. Right. Okay, so now it is heard and it is advised by many that you should have a diverse culture and diverse core team members. But then having diverse core team members makes it more difficult to perform in the team or gel within the team. So, what are your thoughts about having a diverse team when it comes to core team members?
Diversity is the crux. There are no two ways about it. Because, Rakesh, if you remember about 40, 50 years back, it was always family driven. Let's say you're the
Hmm.
father of you're building an organization, and you have young children, let's say about 20, 25 year olds. You want them to join your company, or you want your own kith and kin, your brother, sister, aunt, uncle, or your
Yeah.
niece, nephew
Yeah.
to join the organization. So these days, with multinational companies, it is very important to have people from various backgrounds. So the first set is, like I explained to you, it was a family-run business.
Yes.
Were only having your own kith and kin. Maybe if you know, let's say Rakesh knows Sree Lata, she may be recruited because Rakesh knows Sree Lata very well. But you will not recruit somebody else whom you don't know. But in the second case, then you have your smaller companies, let's say the medium-sized companies. Medium-sized companies, or we're also having only, since I belong to Hyderabad, you were having only people from the Telugu background. You were having people only from the Tamil background. Typically you had state-wise or region-wise people joining the organization. This what will happen is you don't have new blood coming into the organization if you don't have people from diverse backgrounds, diverse cultures, diverse states and cities. You don't have different ideas. You don't have different thoughts, and you're restricting your organization to a small little community. Today, in today's world of multinational companies, thanks to PV Narasimha Rao, we open the gates for the West to come in and build their business in India.
Hmm.
So with multinationals being set up in India, you have your Microsofts to IBMs to the automotive companies to the manufacturing companies. Everybody is wanting to set up business in India. And with ease of business, thanks to the present government, ease of business is also, enhancing them to bring in the business to India. With
Yeah.
such companies across the globe wanting to set up business in India, you cannot have a very state specific or city specific people joining your organization. You have to have people across the globe wanting to join your organization.
Right.
Let's say you are setting up an office. Microsoft has an office in Hyderabad. You cannot say, I
Hmm.
will, and you have offices across. Microsoft has offices in Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. So Microsoft cannot say, I will have only people in Telugu speaking in Hyderabad or Tamil speaking in Chennai, etc. Because today, in today's diverse or in today's fast-paced life, Hyderabad was not the same about 30 years back.
Yeah.
You did not have people across states wanting to be working in Hyderabad. Today, your poor Telugu people is very small community. You have people from Punjab, you have people from Haryana,
Hmm.
Chennai, Bangalore, and all wanting to come to Hyderabad, and so is the same cities. When you go to Bangalore, you have a lots of North Indians and West Indians working out of
Hmm.
Bangalore. Same thing with every city. So if that is not opened up, then where is the growth for the organization? Where is the learning for the organization? So it is very important to have people with diverse background and joining every organization, not necessarily only the multinationals, but every organization, whether it's small, medium, or MNCs. Every organization should have people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different education backgrounds, so that they're able to grow and the company also grows. So I think it is absolutely pivotal to have people from not just from India. I mean, in today's world, people across the world wanting to come and educate themselves in or educate the children in India. So not only companies are being set up in India, but people are wanting to educate also in India. You have a lot of Africans coming and learning, studying medicine, studying engineering. So when students across the globe want to come to India and learn, every company should also have different people working in from different states, different cities, different cultures, different countries wanting to work in every organization.
Right. So I summarize this way that having a diverse team makes it easier for you to grow to different markets. But then my
Absolutely.
question is about collaboration of these core team members. So if the core team members are diverse, how do we ensure that collaboration between them is still intact?
Okay, that's an easier question to answer because, if, like I said, your people from different diverse backgrounds bring in a lot of diverse or new thoughts. So I may be specifically having only, let's say, three or four thoughts. When you join my organization, you come up with different ideas, different thoughts. So I can
Hmm.
collaborate with you and say, hey, I was thinking of only one, two, three things, but he's talking about four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 things. So with 6 points of his and 3 points of mine or 4 points of mine, I bring in 10 points to the development of the organization. And isn't that a great growth for the organization?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it is, the one thing that, like I told you, that's easier question to answer, because if you have people from different backgrounds, different thought process and brilliant ideas that come with. So I mean, like I say, okay, I'm an intelligent girl, fair enough, I come with 3 4 ideas, but I'm only restricting to those 4 ideas. Even if I rack my brains, I may not think about the thoughts that you may have, right? So if I'm collaborating with you and 100 others, then I get in thousands of ideas, thousands of thoughts,
Hmm.
thousands of ways
Hmm.
of building the organization. So it is easy to build in the organization with various thoughts, various thought processes, various ideas, various want of doing business in various methods and policies. The crux of, I wouldn't say crux, but the difficult part over here is people with different ideas may come with their own what do you say, their own baggages in terms of culture, in terms of restricting thoughts. They may say, "Oh, I come from a different culture. I'm Punjabi. I don't believe in this thing. I don't believe in
Hmm.
that." So that's
Hmm.
where the HR department or the HODs, for that matter, have to kind of treat them with a kid's glove and tell them this. this will work, this cannot work, because this will work for the betterment of the organization. So that's those are some things which wherein you like I being the HOD of the organization, there are so many times when I tell them, hey, this is a great idea, but this may not work now. Let's keep it aside for some time, and I'll come back to you maybe 6 months later, maybe 3 months later. So you cannot brush off a person saying it's a horrible idea. It may be a good idea, it may not be a good idea, but then it's how you deal with those situations, deal with those people, and say this is what will work for the company. This may not work for the company. This I will actually not really work for the company. So we don't need to look at this point. The second point that you mentioned, yes, we can look at it 1 month later. It is how you
Hmm.
deal with it, and how you can't be rude to the person. You have to be polite, and you can say, hey, this cannot work, or this may not work, because it doesn't align with the company. So it is again today, you will agree with me, Rakesh. While you and me have just started interacting, I cannot be rude to you, you cannot be rude to me, you cannot be brusque with me. So it's being polite, and that's how every organizations work. Yeah.
True, true. So, at the end, it's a people problem, and it has to be managed in a people manner.
Absolutely. You have to deal with
Hmm.
them, deal with people in a very, very polite manner and very nice manner. I can't say,
Yeah.
Rakesh, you're horrible. Even if I say you're horrible, I have to, to sweetly tell you about it.
I wouldn't take that in that manner. Okay. Cool, cool.
But I'm
I
just
hope
giving you
you
an
didn't
example.
mean
I
that,
didn't
by
mean
the
that, of
way.
course. No, I was just giving you an example, Rakesh. I know you're.
I know, I know. No, no offense taken. Okay. So, ma'am, coming to the core team, we have hired them, we have trained them, and there is a good of collaboration happening. And sometimes there is some glitch between two core team members. My question comes about the retention of core team members now, especially with startups. So startup founders face this a lot. There is the co-founder who joins after 3 4 months. He or she feels that okay, I'm not right for this system. What makes a co-founder stick with us? How do we retain them?
Um, there are three, four issues. One is uh, whether it is the core co-founders or the HODs or even the team leaders, team member, team managers, it is very important to not micromanage. You may have because let's say I'm the HOD of the department, I may have a young employee. Yeah, when I say young employee is 2021, who's just passed out of college. You need to kind of handhold them. Even Vishwanath, that example that I gave you, this boy had about 9, 10 years of experience. He was not a fresher, right? But then I had to handhold him. I had to tell, I'm actually guiding him like a small little child. But I did that for nearly 2 months, and it helped him. So while you're hand holding people, while you're telling them the path or showing them the path, it is also important to give them the respect that they should or they will deserve. Second is guide them as to what they can do, what they are capable of doing, and give them the path. Also, give them the time. Sorry, give them the time to learn. That's as far as your young team is concerned. When you're talking
Hmm.
about the core team, there are times when organizations uh, when I feel that my job, what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not doing the job. Because the management expects me to do something else completely, or the management is too micromanagement. Both of these things are very, very stifling. When I have been a part of this also, that my boss was micromanaging me to the minutest of things. And
Hmm.
not
I
when was
can
it?
relate that.
Not when I was, when I was starting my career. It was as recent also. You cannot micromanage. You cannot micromanage even a fresher. It is, you have to tell them, yes, this is what needs to be done, this cannot be done, this should be done in this way, and all that. But you cannot micromanage. Or I wouldn't say cannot, but I would say you should not micromanage, because it becomes very, very uncomfortable. And more so at the senior level, you cannot micromanage.
Hmm.
Second is, the organizations have to define what is to be delivered by every employee, and they should not keep jumping around. When I say that, I also will definitely add that when organizations are starting up, I cannot restrict myself to only one particular job. Like,
Hmm.
I may be part of the HR department, but then maybe I'll have to jump into the admin department. I'll have to take care of the admin department. I'll have to probably
Hmm.
take care of the marketing for whatever it is required. Probably take care of marcom, that is marketing and communications. So I will be probably doing multiple jobs, but then
Hmm.
the leverage or the freedom to do what you want to do should be given by the employees, by the employer or the CEO of the organization.
Right.
Second is, for whatever reasons, like you mentioned, 3 months down the line or 4 months down the line, if the organization, the CEO plus the core members think that it's not working out, it's better to part. It's better to part than having um, unhappy employee. Even if it's a core member, it's still an employee, right? He or she is still an employee. So it is easier to let go than to have an unhappy employee, because that's just setting a huge precedence. Because once you are unhappy, even if you're the best actress, it kind of reflects on your face, it kind of reflects on your body language, it
It
reflects
does.
on your work, etc. So it
Hmm.
percolates to your employees or to your team members, and that's
Hmm.
not correct.
Hmm.
So you should,
True.
even the core member, let's say you're the CEO of the organization and I'm your team member, I'm the HOD of the department. If I am not happy, then I should go and, I would, one is, before I that comes to the stage, I should be able to come to your office and talk it out. I should be able to thrash out whatever the problem is. What is the problem? Hey, you are saying 1 2 3 things are not done. I will say 1 2 3 things were done, but this was not done, this was done, or this was done in such a manner. Then we should be able to talk and thrash it out, not just at your level and my level, but even the junior employees. Second is, if after having thrashed out, after working on those set of parameters, it's not working out, then it's easier to say bye, thank you, we'll keep in touch, we'll be friends, and go your own ways. Because otherwise, it's just going to create a lot of unhappiness.
Hmm. True. True. Well, I think that summarizes well that most of the time micromanagement kills even the core team members, and
Absolutely.
at the end,
Absolutely.
it's your business that is suffering.
Absolutely.
Great.
You cannot micromanage. It's very, very
Yeah,
bad.
of course, of course. So now my question is that at a given stage, the core team is functioning,
Rakesh, are
but
you there? I've lost you.
are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I was saying that every employee, every team member has a life cycle, right? And we have seen that there are stages where the performance of an employee is depreciating. The first 6 months, an employee joins, he's very passionate, he goes to the market, and he just kills it. But then the next 6 months are average, and maybe the other 6 months after that, it's kind of sloppy. So this performance culture is something that a core team member has to drive. But then how, as a founder, we can ensure that the core team member is also performance driven?
Um, so the performance, like I said, the information should be percolated from the CEO. When you're talking
Hmm.
about information, like I'm talking about every aspect of the business. Now,
Hmm.
in terms of the performance, um, once I know what the business requires of me to perform, it is very important to, or it is very easy to deliver what is required. Why? The
Right.
second question is, why am I not able to deliver? What is the reason? Is it the market reason, or is it my personal reason? Market could
Hmm.
be like, if I'm not, in terms of sales, if I'm not able to sell a product. Now you may turn around and ask me, okay, that's as far as sales, but what about HR? So I'm get you want 100 people to join in the organization. I'm not able to recruit 100 people. I may be able to recruit only 40 or 50 people. What is the
Hmm.
reason?
Hmm.
And 40, 50 people is not just one quarter, it is continuing. So what is the reason? Because if I'm not able to get 100 people as required, I'm getting in only 40 or 50 people, then the business is getting impacted. Because if I'm not getting in the required people, how will the business grow? How will the business, whether it's technology, whether it's your software people or a HR people, I need people, right? So what
Hmm.
is the reason? So if I'm not able to deliver for whatever reasons, I need to go and tell my HOD, CEO, whomever I'm reporting into, as to what the reasons are. And second is, I cannot tell
Okay.
you in the Lavantar. I have to tell you that, hey, if you tell me that I need 100 people as of tomorrow, I need to, as an HOD of the HR department, I need to tell you that tomorrow will not be possible. If you need 100 people, you should have told me at least 15 days back.
Hmm.
So those are those aspects, or those reasons need to be told. Second is, what is the reason why I am not able to deliver? Is it a personal reason? Is it a business reason? It's a professional reason. So, and if it's a professional reason, what is the professional reason? What is the professional reason? Can be like, 5 members of my team resigned last month, which I did not expect, right? So if that is there, then I should be able to quickly scale up my team and still be able to deliver. Then the second point is, why did 5 members of my team resign last month at one go? Is it something wrong with the business, or is it because of recession, or is it because of some pandemic, or is it because of a boss? Because you must have heard this statement that people don't leave the organization, people leave because bad managers.
Yeah.
So what is the reason? Why are people leaving? And when I say my department, I just gave an example. It could be across organization, across departments. So what is
Hmm.
the reason? Why are people leaving? If it's one odd person, two odd people, I can still understand. Probably they want to leave because of the growth, etc. Then the second question is, why are you not able to give them the growth that they expect? What
Hmm.
is the reason? The third is the salary part, right? So first is the role, second is the growth, and third is the salary. When I'm happy with the role, believe me, Rakesh, I've handled HR teams for many, many years now. As long as people are able to learn, they don't expect to leave the they don't wish to leave the company. What do I mean by learn? It can be learning, can be constant. It can be either technology, it can be either soft skills or anything related to their job. So once they're learning, even if there is a lateral growth, they're quite happy. They don't expect promotions and increments every time. Let's say I'm joined as an assistant manager. I don't expect to become a manager once in 2 years, and then as a senior manager after 3 years. But as long as I'm learning. Second is, what is the market paying? If the market is paying, let's say, 5 lakhs for a Java guy, and my company, I may not be a Microsoft, I may be the medium level company. If my medium level company is, if Microsoft is paying 5 lakhs, I should be able to at least pay 3.5 or 4. If I'm not able to pay 3.5 or 4 for a Java person with 4 or 5 years experience, then there is a problem. The third is, constantly give them the required training. Like I said, it can be technology, it can be soft skills, it can be non-technology oriented. So as long as employees feel that they're learning and there
Hmm.
is growth, they will not want to leave.
Yeah.
And stay connected with the teams. because a lot of HODs work in silos. They don't involve teams. They don't involve the
Right.
team members. Work with the teams. Like
Right.
I'll give you an example. There have been many times when I've, let's say Rakesh is my team member, I've said, hey Rakesh, let's go and have coffee. And probably you don't even have to have coffee in a coffee day or something. Within your own pantry, you can just take him out for a coffee. Therein I'm not talking about business, I'm not talking about anything, I'm just casually talking to him about the sun and the moon
Mm.
and the family and all that. I am able
Mm.
to judge, or I'm able to assess that what is his problem. I give you a small example over here. I used to have, I used to work, this was many years back, 2006 I suppose. I was working for a BPO company where this young girl, I forget her name, I think let's call her Sujata. She joined in the organization and she was brilliant. The first 6 months, she was amazing. Then, as you would understand, every BPO company has parameters, and every parameter you have to have markings, ratings, etc.
Mm.
So her
Mm.
rates fell. After 5 or 6 months, her rate just plummeted. So I asked, and she used to look constantly worried. Whenever I used to pass away, I was a workstation, and she used to look constantly worried. So I asked the manager. She said, when I have spoken to her, she's not opening up. So I very casually took her out for a coffee one day and said, "What's worrying you?" She didn't open up. So I was talking about the moon and the sun, and I was joking with her. Then she slowly opened up, and I realized she was having a marital problem. Now, what was the
Mm.
marital problem? It was not an abusive marriage, but it was more of an ego issue. She had some issues with her husband and with mother-in-law. So I counseled her and I told her, treat your mother-in-law like your own mother, and cajole her and pamper her. Buy her a sari, take her out for a coffee, take her out for a dosa. Small things, and you will not fight about inane things with your mother. So do that same thing with your mother and your sorry mother-in-law and your husband. And she had a 7 month old child then, and she said, I'm going to go for a divorce. So I explained to her saying, you're just earning 13,000, you have a 7 month old baby. She said, I'll go back to my parents. I said, your parents are getting old and they will probably not appreciate the fact that your daughter wants to walk out of a marriage, because it's in India, thankfully, unlike the West, we still um, give a lot of importance to marriage and families, etc. So I said they will not appreciate the fact that their daughter wants to walk out of a marriage.
Mm.
Yes, they will support you. It's an abusive marriage, but for some silly inane ego issues, they may not want you to walk out of the marriage. And I kept counseling
Mm.
her on at least about 15-20 days. And then her scores improved. And after 2 years, after me leaving the organization, also, she called up and she said, Ma'am, I'm having a second child. So it's very important to counsel people, to talk to people, to thrash out the matter, whether it's your core team members or your team members. It is important to talk.
Hmm. Okay. So, ma'am, we almost are at the end of our webinar. So, my final question to you would be for a founder who is just starting up, what would be your advice for him or her to look out for a core team member? How can he or she build his or her core team member?
On the core team is you should know what business you want to get into as you're the
Right.
founder. Uh,
Right.
is it don't do something just because every second or third person is doing it. What do you want to get into? What are your capabilities? What drives you? What is your passion? What is the business? If you are getting into IT, for example, what is the business capabilities that you have in terms of both business and in terms of core knowledge? Are you an
Right.
engineering student? If you want to set up an organization with Microsoft technologies, then as a CEO, I should be able to understand what is Microsoft technologies, what is the core aspects. I don't need to be a software developer, but I should have understanding of completely what .NET is, what Java is, what software development is all about. This is different from the HR example I gave you. For HR, I have to have the basic knowledge. That's fine for me. I can set up the entire HR department. I can set up the entire technology department. I can also recruit the entire technology department. But for a CEO or for a founder, it's very important to have 100% knowledge. Like I said, he may not require to uh, build software capabilities or sit in code, but he should understand what the core knowledge he should have.
Hmm.
Sorry.
You want
Our
to take a
second
minute
is,
to drink a water, sip a cup of water, maybe?
yeah, second is, what are the business capabilities that you have? Do you have understanding of the business? What does it take to build the organization? Everybody likes to have a great idea. Everybody probably has a
Hmm.
great idea.
Right.
How do you put that idea into running a business? Because running, I may have 100 great ideas, but running a business is completely different.
True.
So, do I have the business capabilities? Second is, I always say this, Rakesh, that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to have a detailed plan. The fourth is, once when I say a detailed plan, it should be like, I got up in the morning, I brushed my teeth, I had a shower, I walked
Hmm.
5 steps to I walked 5 steps to lock my door. Walked 15 steps to take the lift. The lift went to the basement. I walked about 50 yards to get into my car. I opened the car, started the ignition and drove my car. It should be that much in detail.
Hmm.
This point is, speak to your seniors, speak to your parents, speak to your family, speak to your incubators, innovators, speak to your lecturers, understand what you're getting into. Ask them to when I say speak to them, get in their ideas, tell them what business is. They will be able to give in their ideas, so that you can build in more capabilities. Why
Hmm.
I give you a better example is, if I'm discussing with you, saying, hey, this is my plan, this is what I want to do, you will say this will work, this may not work, or these things you will have to build in for your plan itself. Once you need to execute it, how you need to execute it. If I'm collaborating, or if I'm calibrating with my seniors, my peers, my lecturers, they will be able to bring in a lot of their ideas, of bringing in their thoughts into my plan, and that is extremely, extremely, extremely important. I cannot do away. So you may ask me the question saying, okay, you when you want to be an entrepreneur, probably you're talking about person with 5 years experience, or 0 years of experience, or maybe 10 years of experience. I would say that every college student who wants to be an entrepreneur, get into a corporate job, work there for 3 to 5 years, and then set up your
Hmm.
own entrepreneurship. Because
Hmm. True.
organization that you may be just an executive or senior executive or even an assistant manager, but the 5 years or 3 years that you have worked in an organization teaches you business, teaches you how to manage teams, how to build teams, how to work with diverse cultures, diverse background people. It teaches you so many things: organizing, planning, executing. So it is very important to get into corporate organization and build and have the corporate experience. Second is, when you're saying that, okay, what will be the answer if I have 20 years of experience and I want to be an entrepreneur? If you have 20 years of experience, you may have built in a lot of capabilities in terms of knowledge, in terms of how to run a business, how to
Yeah.
work with, how to build teams. But then I may have knowledge in terms of building teams, how to work with teams, but I may not have business management or business capabilities. So I need to develop those business capabilities. Because, like I write to you, you also agreed with me that running a business is completely different than working in an organization. So I can be working in HO, working as an HOD in Microsoft, but that's very easy. I do my job. But running a
Hmm.
business, I'm taking care of 10,000 people, 10,000 other
Hmm.
things, not just people in
Hmm.
terms of your vendors, in terms of money, in terms of capital, etc. So those are some things which you should be able to build those capabilities, and that's why I say that you should not become an entrepreneur as soon as you finish your job, as soon as you finish your course. Get into a company, work there for 3 years, 5 years, then start your own entrepreneurship.
That's nice. That's really nice. Lesson well taken, ma'am. So we have few questions from our audience. Uh, I'll take one of them. What kind of skill training would you recommend for founders and leaders to keep them engaged with the organization?
When you're talking about a founder, definitely is not. Like I said, you should not start a company or become an entrepreneur as soon as you finish your course. So when you're talking about a founder, I presume that you're talking of a founder who's got at least 15, 20 years of experience. So if a person has 15, 20 years of experience, the skills that he has to have will already be built in terms of people management, in terms of knowledge, in terms of how to build, how to scale up the department, how to scale up organizations. The skills are kind of built in, or the skills are he's already equipped with.
Hmm.
For a person who does not have 15, 20 years of experience, who has lesser years of experience, let's say 5 years of experience, like I answered the previous question, it's very important to build in those management skills, those business skills, build in a lot of capabilities, constantly speak to your seniors, constantly speak to people who are entrepreneurs, understand what is the pitfalls and the so not so nice points and not so great point and great points, because being an entrepreneur is not a rosy bed. It is also a bed of thorns. So you should be able to understand what you're getting into, and how you can scale up, and what it would need for you to scale up.
Okay. We have one more question. Although it's not related with our topic, but I'm still bringing it up because, audience is the god.
Sure.
So, which factors, according to you, is extremely important from the point of view of startups? Is it timing, idea, investors, business model, or team?
I would say idea and business model are the most important, the most crucial, because if you have an
Hmm.
idea and have a fantastic business model, then your team and everybody else can be built up easily. But if you don't have
Hmm.
like I said, in the for the houses you have a blueprint, so you should
Hmm.
have a clear blueprint, and that's why I said
Hmm.
you should have
Hmm.
a detailed. Like I gave you an example, saying I got up in the
Yes.
morning, brush my teeth, etc., etc. You should have an extremely detailed plan, and do
Hmm.
not have this detailed plan just in your head. Write it down.
Write it
Write
down.
down each of the activities that you want to, even if you're setting up an organization which is just selling these bottles, how you want to sell these bottles, what you want to do, how you want to do it, which is the market that you're catering to. If you're catering to a particular market, who are your competitors, and how you can compete with them. What is going to be your profit earning? There will be a break even, there will be a profit net. So you should also be patient. When you start your business or an entrepreneurship, you cannot expect profit within the first 6 months. 6 months, I'm sure there's zero money coming in. And forget about profit, there's zero money coming in. So you should
Hmm.
be able to not just understand what your business model, you should also be able to understand what is the investment that you're putting in. So
Hmm.
who is going to be the investor? So also the second point, Rakesh, is when you're saying entrepreneurship, do you have that kind of capability? In terms, when I say capability, I don't mean to disrespect, but the bandwidth in terms of finance. Are you going to take in from your family? Are you going to take in from your extended family? Do you have Have you built up that finance, core finance, to put into the business? Because at the first juncture, it will take
Hmm.
easily 1 or 2 years for you to go into get VC, venture capital, right?
Yeah.
No bank is going to give you a loan at the first go. You should be able to
True.
prove it to them that yes, I have done this for 6 months, 1 year, and then your venture capital or your bank loans will kick in. So you should
True.
you should have the financial muscle pull. The second is you should be able to understand how you want to, what business you want to get into, a completely detailed plan. Then building in your team, etc., will be a rather easy job.
Hmm. Hmm. I think that's very well summarized. Even I advise the startups to have at least 2 years of financial pool created before they can go all in. Otherwise, there's no point in just diving in and testing the markets because they are bound to fail. Because it
Absolutely.
requires
Even if you're
money
like I said,
to, yeah, it
yeah,
requires money to sustain. Yeah.
like I gave you an
Great.
example, even if you're having a small
Hmm.
bottle of water and you're getting into this business, there are already 6 or 7 players,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
how are you going to differentiate? Why
Hmm.
should they buy your product? So are
Right.
you going to say that instead of purple you're going to have some fancy pink or some blue or something? Is that going to be a differentiation? Is it going to be pricing? Is it going to be a business model? Is it going to be this business segment? So all these things you will have to have a detailed plan, and the more you discuss with more number of people, you will get more ideas. So
Right.
I would never say don't become an entrepreneur. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, have an extremely clear-cut ideas. Be very, very clear. Second is be
Hmm.
very, very
Hmm.
passionate. And three is like
Hmm.
Rakesh very rightly said, don't give up. The first
Yeah.
1 year, you're not going to have any money coming in.
Yeah.
Even if you're setting up whichever department, whether it's a bottle of water or laptop or IT business or whatever you're getting into, you should expect zero money coming in for the first 1 year. For example, even if I'm being an HR person, even if I'm starting a recruitment company, I cannot expect money coming in for the first 6 months.
Hmm.
Though despite the fact that I have a fairly decent network, I cannot expect money coming in for the first 6 months. Only then, you will slowly start working on it. Then the second aspect is you will also have to build in your infrastructure cost, your office space, your IT, sorry, your AC, light, fan, etc. All those also have to be taken care of your cost. So if you're saying that 1 year I tried and it's not worked up, so I'm giving up. Um, don't give up. The second is if taking a leaf out of me of this webinar, I am a person who just doesn't give up. Keep trying, keep trying. That doesn't mean you keep trying forever. Try, understand as to
Hmm.
what path is, try and chase your goals. Don't give up on your goals. Chase it. But at the same time, collaborate with your various stakeholders, understand how you can scale up, what are your, build in those capabilities of business, build in those capabilities of team, build in those capabilities of running, organizing, planning, executing. These are very important.
Hmm. Hmm. True. True. Great, ma'am. So it was awesome. And lastly, thank you for the motivation that you put in right now. And I'm sure
Thank you so
a
much.
lot of startup founders require this kind of a motivation. And I can just hope that we as a country we become the startup capital of the world.
Thank you so much. It was a lovely talking to you, and thanks for inviting me to your podcast. It was really, really nice talking
Pleasure's
to
all
you.
ours. Pleasure's all
And we
ours. It
crossed
was
that 45 minutes. We are already 1 hour,
which
15
is
minutes,
okay.
1 hour.
I mean, I still, feel like talking a lot because it's so insightful talking to you, ma'am. You know,
Thank you so much. Thanks again for inviting me. Have a lovely evening.
thank you. Same to you.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
LinkedIn. Goodbye, YouTube. We will see you again in our next show. Bye.